Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All praise unto Yahweh Shim Yahweh Shai, Waharakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles of great millstone. Honest you brothers, of be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So this is going to be a relatively short video going into the prophecies of the scriptures. And in this edition, we're looking at this article here that was shared in a group chat by a brother. And it's coming from the news website, Russia Today. Basically, it goes something like this. It says, when trade stops, sometimes war starts. Okay, sometimes war starts. So it says, I'm going to read a little bit of the excerpt. It says, the tit-for-tat exchange between the world's two largest economies, China and the US, may lead to the possibility of a military conflict, according to Alibaba founder Jack Ma. He has warned that a trade war would hurt everybody, and pretty much how he knows that is how we know certain things, okay, and there's a thing called a seer, and a seer, sometimes what you do to see a certain situation play out is you look back at the history. So when you're dealing with economic markets, or you're dealing with a war, when you're dealing with situations where you have a lot of tension between countries and regions, you can look at war. All right, there's an old saying basically that if we don't learn the lessons of the history, then we're bound to make the same mistakes again. And pretty much this is how this thing with the world, with China and America is playing out. It's playing out like the British and the Germans, when the Germans was increasing in their manufacturing sector, and Britain, basically started a world war. I believe that's how the brother put it within the chat. Okay, the elder, how he phrased it within the chat. Maybe he's done a video on this. I don't know. But continue. Pretty much when you check out history, all right, or when this guy has checked out history, Jack Ma, that is, all right, he's seen that there was a pattern, right? When you have sanctions and so on and so forth played, and you got it to where trade is stopped, then war had played out in those scenarios. Okay. So continuing, it says, talking at the World Trade Organization Public Forum in Geneva, Ma said, when trade stops, sometimes war starts. And ultimately, when you go into the scriptures, you find out that the war is going to play out. And it's going to play out between the Chinese, predominantly between the Russians and the Americans, of which we know that we know that the Chinese play a major factor, all right, between the alliances that you have out there in what's known as the Eastern world, which is which is dominated by China and Russia, man. Okay, they have what's known as bilateral trade. Okay, so they're good with each other, so you can understand. All right, they're buddies. Okay, talking at the World Trade Organization Public Forum in Geneva, Ma said, when trade stops, sometimes war begins. So trade is the way to stop wars, and that makes sense. When you're trading goods, all right, between families or small regions and that, you ain't looking to mess the next place up, or the next family up, or the next tribe up, because you have a vested interest in what they have to provide. That's why you check out pretty much when we have the whole world underneath our foot, the main thing that's going to be happening is trade. Okay, that's why the scripture says that the forces of the Gentiles is going to be continually going in through the gates of Jerusalem. That's trade, because we're going to have deals in that with them. Now, if we're just persistently jacking them up, they ain't got no time, to be producing products, man. They're gonna be what? Now, obviously, obviously, let's say that had happened in the past. Okay, I'll put it like that. Let's go into the history. Okay, when King David and King Solomon were ruling, imagine King Solomon had started stop trade with certain places. You might have skirmishes popping off in wars, eventually, leading up to war. When we are in rulership, because we're gonna have all the heathen in subjection, you're just gonna have perpetual trade, man. That's gonna play out. That's gonna turn this place into the earth into what? Into an Eden. Okay, because there's not gonna be any reason why our goats are not gonna be grazing. There ain't gonna be no reason why vineyards are not being planted, and therefore there ain't gonna be no reason why trade ain't gonna be playing out, man. That's why it's gonna be a kingdom of peace. All right, and he said the trade is the way to build up trust. Okay, not the weapons with which to fight one against another. And when you check out the main export that America has, I think it's about 80%. It goes into what? It goes into war. Okay, their main export is that they export war. Right, the businessman expressed confidence that Beijing and Washington should work together to solve the challenge. Now, this ain't going to happen. What's going to happen is you're going to see a major world war, what's known as World War III, play out, and that's in accordance to the scriptures. Matter of fact, if I jump into the precept right now, and if I search whoa, we should get the relevant scripture. Okay, because when you go into the Bible, man, the Bible tells you everything. The Bible tells you about what's happened, okay, and what's gonna happen. All right, and what's gonna happen is the World War III is gonna play out. Let me change the wording up. It's past, and let's see what pops up out there. So Revelations 9 and 12, it says, one war is past, and behold, they come 2 wars hereafter. And when you go into the word war, okay, it goes into the destruction. Does it say that there? All right. Okay. So, destruction in that. Okay. Going back onto this article, it says, so this paragraph here, it says it's going to destroy not only China and the US trade, but also lots of other countries and small businesses. The billionaire repeated his previous suggestion that the standoff may last 20 years. It ain't gonna last no 20 years, man. You see, some of these guys are assholes because they'll say the right thing and then they'll mislead you. Okay, 20 years. Come on, man. This thing that's popping off between China and America is unprecedented. The amount of money each country is losing as a result of those sanctions that they're imposing on one another is ridiculous. It's going to spew out into a World War III. All right, and also too, you have to remember China and Russia are alliances to one another. Okay, they have allegiance to one another. And as a result of having allegiance one to one another, they have a main enemy in America that's putting sanctions on the both of them. What do you think is going to happen? And at the same very time, you got it to where you got Chinese troops, but predominantly Russian troops fighting against American troops in regions like Syria. Again, what do you think is going to happen, man? Okay. Oh, in addition to that, you also got it to where what? You got major sanctions being imposed upon Iran. And the main thing that's keeping Iran afloat is Russia and China because they're selling what? They're selling their oil over. Also, the EU. I did a video on that. They're selling their oil out there into what? Into the Far East. So that's gonna create even further tension, man. Okay, to the end that what the scriptures is fulfilled. All right. So let's go into the Bible now. Go into the book of Malachi, the 4th chapter, and go into the scriptures because pretty much. You can read the articles, but the main things is the prophecies. All right, the main things is we get into the prophecies. What the prophecies say. This is all speculative, but what does the scripture says? Okay, so Malachi 4:1 it says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be for stubble." You got a lot of proud people out here, man. Maybe because of money, and pride is a motherfucker, man. Pride is a motherfucker because you might. Hey, I've been through it. You deal with pride for a certain amount of time, and another situation that makes you proud comes along. That's why you gotta pray unto Yahweh that He has mercy on you, man. Okay? All that do proudly shall do, yea, all that do wickedly shall be for stubble. Now, this is really talking about Esau because Esau's what? He's known as a proud individual. You go to the book of Obadiah, you find out that Esau is really one of the most proudest individuals that's ever existed. Okay? Who boasted himself so much that he calls himself God. All right, so it says, "Thou shalt burn them," and saith the Lord, "Thou shalt burn them up," saith the Lord of hosts, "that shall leave neither root nor branch." So you ain't gonna be left, and that goes to show you that's talking about Esau, because all the nations are gonna exist after this destruction, this World War III, but ultimately Esau is the one that's not gonna be left children, nor the tree, okay, nor the root, okay, nor the branch, so you can understand. "But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of righteousness arise with healings in his wings. Yea, he shall go forth up as calves and of the soul." So pretty much, that's what's coming, man. Okay, the day of darkness and gloominess, and that's pretty much what this is alluding to. All right, when trade stops, then war begins, and it's gonna be a world's war when this war begins. Okay, so with that, I must say, all praise unto Yahweh, Shemi Ashai, Wahara Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles of great millstone. Honor you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.